Okay, we went through a whole bunch of life story stuff. Now I just want to ask you what you think about things. So, what was your approach to parenting?
Well, that's a complicated question, you know. My feeling was give them guidance, but let them grow up, not overprotect, and not overreact to some of the things they do. To let boys be boys up to a point, and that get them interested in things and let them follow their own interests. Mainly let them find out what they're interested in, let them follow their own interests and help them develop those interests into whatever they want to become. So I wanted to give them, let them be free spirits and have a free mind and not dictate how their life should be.
Do you have any examples come to mind?
Yeah, me. That's the way I was raised. I had all kinds of opportunities to do what I wanted to do and explore as I wanted to explore. And I was encouraged all along the way. And I ended up doing exactly what I wanted to do, and I've had a wonderful life. And I think you have too. So, and I think probably all, you and your brothers have all pursued their interests. And that's why you're all what I consider successful.
About now that you're a grandparent, what approach do you have to grandparenting?
Not that much, because I don't see them that often. I don't know if what kind of an influence I've had on my grandchildren. I really don't know. The thing is that, you didn't have the contact with the older grandchildren that much. We had some, and I think it's had an influence. And the younger ones, the age difference is so great that I felt bad I couldn't get out and do a lot of the things I'd like to do with them. And maybe still an opportunity, but the age difference is quite great, and I'm not sure I can go out and go fishing with them like I would like to. Well, there's things I can do with them, and I enjoy them very much. And but it's more limited, and so I don't know how much of that experience we have that I have that influence on them. I really don't know. I probably, as a parent, you could tell me more than I can tell you.
Well, I think it says a lot that Curtis wants to ride in the car that you're driving.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And I know Mitch loved me, and we had lots of fun together playing, and he felt really bad when we left. So, yeah, I know they, I love my grandchildren. I know they love me, and so that's positive. But I don't know how much influence I have. And I guess, how can a grandparent know that? Because the parents have to have their influence. And are you coming in conflict with them on their values and what they visualize as they want, But I don't think it's a big deal. But you ask me, how much of an influence do I don't know.
I asked you what your approach is to grandparenting.
Oh, my approach to grandparenting is, enjoy them and have fun with them and spoil them a little and give them what they want and, enjoy them as much as I can and make them happy. So that's my approach. I'm not dictating any lifestyles or ways to behave or any more than I would with you and my son and your brothers. I'd have the same approach. They are given their space.
What would you like your grandkids to know about you?
I don't know. I suppose that I had a good life, and I had lots of interesting experiences and challenges, and it was rewarding. And I'm a very happy, satisfied man.
Marriage. You have been married for
59 years
59 years
this December.
this December.
Right.
How'd you pull that off?
Well, I guess I had a good understanding wife, and we certainly made our compromises, both of us, and we joke about it, and so yeah, I guess just having a good partner, and I think the fact that she's an intelligent woman certainly helps a lot, and you can, we have our discussions and we can compromise and we agree on things, and there's an awful lot we agree on, but we used to fight when we were dating. We still fight to this day on specifics, and don't totally agree, but so what?
So there isn't one formula that makes marriage works, because everybody's different. What makes yours work?
Probably being so poor we couldn't afford to do anything else. No, I don't know. I think that we both respect each other and think a lot of each other, and even though we know we don't always agree, and we get peeved at each other at times, it's a compromise, and but 90% of the time it's good.
You two have no reservation about expressing when you're peeved with each other.
Not too much.
I've seen that more. It's something you express it more than Nancy and I do.
Yeah.
What are the advantages of that?
Well, I guess it gets it off your chest. You feel better, and at the same time, it makes them start thinking about why you're saying what you're saying, and it gets them to thinking. And in time, I say a lot of times, we reverse the way we think. We change our minds as a result of that. It's easy to get set in your ways and think there's only one way of doing things, and that's not true. And people, even when you're married, you're still coming from different directions, from different experiences, from different upbringing, and different experiences maturing, and different experiences in raising the children, because everything's not just the same. And you have your own ways of thinking. Dorothy and I, her parents were much older than mine, and I had young parents, and I was more of a free spirit. She had older parents, much more structured and conservative, and that had an influence on her, and it influences the way she thinks, and mine influences the way I think. But both have had good values and experiences in their past and in our past, and I guess we just work things out that way.
Now, you have said to me, and I always remember, I've never forgotten this, is you never really know anyone.
Right.
What informed that opinion?
Oh, just seeing people and you think you know them, and then they do such bizarre things, and or you think you've got somebody that is really not so much my own experiences, but all the relationships with my parents I've had in businesses, et cetera, and business partners, and you think you know somebody and how they let you down, and so you don't really know somebody there. That sensitivity, I don't know, as an only child, maybe I had to learn a harder way about human relationships than people who grew up having brothers and sisters. I don't know, but I still believe that. And I think some people, I just think it's naive to really think you know somebody, because you don't know what's going through their mind, and you don't know when they give you an answer if they're just pacifying you or they really believe that. And so I think it's smart to keep an open mind and be objective about the way people behave, and the relationships that you have, just so you won't get hurt. And self-protection. Don't be naive.
It also sounds like a very scientific approach, which wouldn't be surprising coming from a scientist.
Well, probably is. I think that's probably shaped a lot of the way I think. To be objective and not to accept anything on word. Look for facts, look for proof, look for evidence. Why is somebody saying that? Why does somebody think that way? Where are they coming from? It's in a sense, I suppose, it's kind of like a mind game with people, and you can ask questions and you test them. And I've been accused of playing mind games. I didn't think I played all that much, but I guess probably I do play mind games, because obviously some people feel that, and but they've got to know why, because otherwise they wouldn't think that way. So yeah, so it's probably I guess it is scientific, the scientific method, the scientific way of thinking, not believing, knowing you can believe in myths. Myths are good. Mankind has to have myths, but not totally believing them. Don't totally believe in the myths that you create, because they can go for a long, long time and be very workable. And all of a sudden they don't work anymore because some other variable has come in and changed everything, changed the rules of the game. So you're always shooting at living at a moving target and experiencing a moving target, and you can't get too set in your ways, and you got to be able to adjust to change, because the only constant is change, and so be prepared for it. And even at this age, at 83, that's getting old. Who knows what tomorrow brings? And so you have to go. This is another stage of life where you have to say, okay, I can't plan really in much detail 5 or 7 years, because I may not even be here in 5 or 7 years. Buying a new automobile. Should I buy a new automobile? Or should I do this? Or should I invest in this? Should I invest in my camp again? Or should I sell it? And so you have a lot of things that go through your mind at each stage of life. And of course, in the 80s now, it's how to get rid of some of this stuff. And there's a lot of furniture, things we want, and we won't keep it. We want people to have it, or at least sell it, but it's only material things. And throw away get rid of a lot of stuff that we know nobody else will want. And that's a big challenge right now, and Dorothy and I have to do that. We've got to take things to the dump and get rid of them and empty out things. And that's a challenge too, because I'm thinking, how much stuff do I need to shred? How much of it's confidential? Do I want to go to that bother, or just take it to the dump and say to hell with it? And get government papers and contracts and things like that. I'm trying to decide, should that be shredded? Shouldn't it be shredded? If I have to shred it, then I got one hell of a lot of work to do. If I decide to hell with it, all I got to do is take it to the dump and dump it. And so that's what's going through my mind right now. Little things like that, but it's time consuming. And so, yeah, I guess, I don't know if that answers your question or not.
A little bit. I mean, you talked about it's important for us to have myths.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're talking about religion to some degree.
Religion and economic myths and trading. We create a myth that if we have good trade and we communicate, business will be good. And for the most part, if everybody is onto that game, then it works. But as long as somebody comes along and says, I don't like this myth, and he throws like kicking a sandcastle, all of a sudden everything comes crumbling down. So then you have to readjust and recreate a new myth that will satisfy what you have to do. Politics is a myth. conservatism is a myth. Liberalism is a myth that people have created. They think this is the way things should be. And they're only myths. They're not necessarily fact. And what makes them more factual is that everybody agrees on it. But religion is the same way. I mean, people have religion for a number of reasons, but I think the thing that's more important in religion is civility. And you don't have to be religious to be civil. You don't have to believe in a certain God or a whole bunch of ancient stories and ancient myths. In fact, I'm not sure that's healthy. And of course, look at humans, how they handle these myths. They've killed each other, they've tortured each other over defining what is the best, how the myth should be. The shape of the cross, the icons that you use. It's such small things that are absolutely ridiculous, that were horrible. So I think if people would think that some of their beliefs are just myths and that they're going to change and they become obsolete, will make them be more objective and think more objective and maybe plan for better things in the future. Because I think we could have a lot better world than we have if we weren't held back. And I mean, I think it'd be amazing what kind of lifestyle humans could create for themselves if they would only think about it. Like, first of all, cleaning up our ocean, getting the plastic out of our oceans, cleaning up our mess, cleaning up our waste dumps. I mean, why don't we create an army to attack that? Why do we create an army to kill each other? Why can't we support the United Nations effort in trying to do these things and back them up? And so, yeah, that's the way I think.
In the battle of science versus religion, and there are people who have found compromises in them, but generally it's one or the other. And you always came down with science, and why is that?
Well, I think it gets down to the point of, here we have this universe, and the whole expanding universe, and we have so much ignorance about it. And so it gets down to the point, was this a random event, or was it a result of a creator? And so if you believe that it was by a creator, and you believe in God, and God did this, that's one thought. I personally think it happened by chance, and we're observing it. And I can't imagine what kind of a creator did this. But I think that's where religion and science really start differing. And in between, there's a lot of religious people who are good scientists, and scientists are very religious, and I think like the Catholic Church believes in evolution. Why can't some of the Baptists and Methodist Church believe in this? Why do they have to be creationists? I mean, the Catholic Church will accept it, but they've had the Jesuits who are great thinkers and good scientists. And so they have that advantage over some of these other religions, and so I have a lot of respect for Pope Francis, and he believes in evolution. He probably is one of the person that believes that this is the result of a creator. It's by design, and I have a hard time believing that because, first of all, it's not you can't attack that scientifically. It's not a question you can address through the scientific process. And if you start believing in that way, then you're losing your objectivity of being totally objective about options. I just think it's better to have an open mind, see what is good about religion and civility and the golden rule and all of these other things that make people, they have to live together, and the more civil we are, the more happier we're going to be living with each other. And we can do it through civility. We don't do it through religion, because too many people have different views of what this is. And somewhere along the line, they should start coming together. And I'm not saying everybody should just be a scientist either. I mean, I think there's a lot of things about the scientific process that people should be more aware of and think like, and be willing to test things and not accept them flat out. So I don't know if that answers your question or not, but I think it gets down to that basic question of how you think we exist.
It totally answers the question. Now, in our house growing up, I mean, there was a clear divide on that. Mom was religion. She was with religion, and you were with science. Not that Mom was against science.
No.
You were against religion. But one believed in religion and one was science. And it seemed to us growing up, we were really educated in the religion. Mom was vocal about the religion. You were quiet about the science angle of that. Why was that?
Well, I thought, the religious process had a lot of things going for it. The church, you got to meet friends, you got to have activities. It made your mother happy, and I was thinking, you're too young to totally comprehend this question. I mean, we know now your human brain doesn't even develop till you're 25. So why would I want to start teaching you the methods and putting down religious dogma until you have a chance to start thinking for yourself? And I knew at some time you're going to have these questions and you're going to have to address them. And now you can listen to your mother and you can listen to me. You know how I think. You can ask her what she thinks. And you have the option of being the free spirit and thinking as you damn well please.
We talked about this on the porch yesterday, in the way you treat people. What is your approach to how do you treat people?
Well, I think you treat people with respect, and acknowledge their differences. And even though, we know people vary, we know not everybody's perfect. And I've always felt, in working with people, I like to maximize their positives and try to minimize their negatives, and take advantage of their positive sides. And that's hiring people, working with people, cooperating with people, etc. And I think by respecting people, they respect you. And if you look down on somebody, you've created, they're going to feel negative about that, and you probably may create an enemy or some, that's just not smart. Negativity is not smart. And and I've just known a lot of people, and you see all kinds of turkeys out there, and everybody recognizes them for what they are. And you don't have to be too brainy to do that. And so I think it's always, first of all, give them the benefit of the doubt, and try to learn more about them and what their interests are and what makes them tick, what motivates them. It was really important to know how to motivate people as a leader of a scientific team. You can't just go and be the senior author of everything. You can't be the only author. Expect them to do all the work and then you publish and get your credit for it. Share authorships, share experiences, give them opportunity to be their own person, go to meetings on their own without having to have me there. Share some of that responsibility to a point, when you give, you shall receive.
Sounds a lot like parenting.
Yeah, it's not all that, it's very similar. It's all part of the process. Yeah, I mean, you're working and you're working with people and you're creating science, generating new ideas, new knowledge, and you're parenting children who you want to grow up to enjoy the same things you've had, and to have those opportunities to express themselves, to explore, take chances, take risks, live and learn, and learning how to live with it. And another thing, not to be afraid of mistakes. Do not be afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes aren't bad. They're showing that you're doing something.
Yeah, my buddy Adam Creek says, I seek failure.
Yeah.
Because that's how I learn.
Yes. Yeah, you don't have to be stupid and fail all the time, but, certainly a certain element of risk is going to require, likely ensure failure, but so what?
When did science really start appealing to you?
Well, first of all, I love the outdoors, and I love nature. So I was like a naturalist before I became a scientist. But when I went to Michigan State University, and I started learning, getting science, and we were getting educated in religion and humanity. Michigan State had a wonderful undergraduate program of liberal education, and that, I think, really helped in opening up your mind and looking at things as they were. And we had some great professors. They were weird, some of them, but boy, they sure made you think. And I thought that was really fantastic in my undergraduate years at Michigan State University. And then when I went on into the graduate school, where then I had great mentors, and at the University of Minnesota also, great teachers and great mentors, wonderful faculty members, and they all helped mold. I had wonderful teachers in the military, master sergeants, warrant officers, who taught me military and things I thought I would never be able to learn about surveys and trigonometry and guns and mechanics and machinery and weaponry and tactics, and so yeah, there was all this, all contributed to my knowledge, and really an opportune time, especially since when I was in the military, I was fortunate between two wars, the Korean War and the Vietnamese War, and I didn't have to participate in those, thank God. And so I got the benefit without having to pay from the military, without having to pay the price. So anyway, yeah, that's all part of it.
What do you think the hallmarks are of good communication?
Oh, that's a tough one. Well, I think one of the things is a good hallmark of communication is first listening. Learn to listen before you start talking. Spend more time listening than speaking, and learn what other people have to say. And if you're serious, think about what you have to say. Just don't blurt things out. Think things through, and then people will listen to you. Don't get too emotional when you speak. I had to learn that too, and I was, that if you speak with too much emotion, you turn people off, and people think, oh, So I think it's important to know, and I'm not a good communicator. I don't think a very good communicator. I think I'm not bad, but I'm not. But I know that I've learned some things about communicating, especially when you have something important you want to say. Say it, think it through, say it. Don't be too emotional about how you present it. Just present it as best you can. Lay out the facts. Open up the questions, and I think that's about it. Probably I could have taken. Well, I did take speech in high school, but I probably could have worked more at communicating than I do.
What's the most fun you've ever had?
Well, that's that's a complex question in the sense that I've had lots of fun, and it's hard to say which is most fun. You go through, as I mentioned earlier, you have different experiences, different stages of your life. And when I was younger, hunting and fishing was everything. I loved hunting and fishing, and I loved drawing, and I loved oil painting when I was younger. And later on, I started playing tennis, and I loved playing tennis. And so that was very enjoyable. Let's see. And then as I got older, I enjoyed my family and having fun with my family and skiing with my family, playing games with my family, tennis with the family, fishing, again, not the hunting, because I did not insist that my family were hunters, because the times were changing, and it wasn't the same as when you lived on a farm and you hunted for food. And so then I started enjoying movies and TV, and I enjoyed trips to England, and I enjoyed trips to Mexico, and I enjoyed the ocean. And I remember one time my first experience with the ocean. That's when I was in high school, and we went to Barnegat Beach on the Jersey coast, and one of my friends' uncle took us out deep sea fishing, and we saw turtles and hammerhead sharks, and caught weak fish and bluefish, and then brought home, and his aunt cooked them all up for us, and that was a wonderful summer. That was I'll never forget that. It was, and then after you got married, we had fun dancing and going to dances. We had fun raising our children. We also had our trials and tribulation, but no, that was wonderful. And watching them grow up and watching them get interested in sports, and watching them develop and mature. So that was a whole new game. So the fun evolved, and so different things became fun and interesting, and so the most fun. It's hard to say what was the most fun. I had lots of fun, and worked at having fun. I don't know much more to add to that.